As well as your IELTS lessons with myself and with your tutor, there are things that you can do outside of the classroom, so outside of your lesson time. I'm going to give you some useful top tips now on what you can do for each of the different skills. Remember, succeeding in a test is not just about doing well on the day. If you do these things outside of the classroom, it will give you the IELTS score that you need, as well as improving your English significantly. It's really important now that you have your pen and paper and you make a note of the following slides. The reason why is the more you can do, the more your English will improve, the more prepared you will be for your IELTS exam, the greater the chance it will be that you will get the score that you need. These are very simple things that you can do from the comfort of your own home. As I say, we're going to have a look at each of the skills individually. Let's start with reading. Daily news reports, especially the BBC. Read these. It's going to help you with the specific IELTS topics and give you the vocabulary that you need. It's a really good idea to read current affair magazines. I recommend The Economist and Time. Again, articles in these magazines are similar to the type of articles that you may be given in the reading part of the IELTS exam. You need to be familiar with these current news topics, okay? This is really going to help you with your vocabulary. Read, read, read. Obviously, the more you read, the wider your vocabulary will be and your general knowledge. Practice, practice, practice. The more you do the practice tests that you'll be given throughout the course, the more you will have the opportunity to improve your exam techniques. Let's have a look at the listening skills now. Things that you can do to improve your listening skills. Familiarise yourself with conversations you would not usually hear. This will help you for two reasons. It will actually help you with the speaking part of your exam with the pronunciation of the words. That's why it's a good idea that you can hear a native speaker now. It's also going to familiarise you with the different accents that native speakers have, which will train your ear to pick up those words. I recommend with this you can listen to BBC Radio 4. This is not a music radio station. It's a conversation. It's people debating, usually about topics covered in IELTS. So not only will you be training your listening, you'll also be getting vocabulary for those popular IELTS topics. As with reading, you need to listen, listen, listen. The more English you listen to, the more your listening skills will improve. And practice, practice, practice. We will do some live listening during the course, as well as some practice tests which you will be given at the end of some lessons. These are really important. The only way you can really improve your listening is by practice. Writing. With writing, good idea to think about global issues because you need to give your opinion about these. So you need to have an understanding about the global issues and you need to have good vocabulary to use. Also with writing, it's your chance to show off to the examiner, to show off the different words that you can use. So if you're repeating yourself and you're using the same words all the time, the examiner will think that your English is very limited. So you can make a list of common words that you use and then synonyms for these words. That means rather than repeating a word, you can still give a word that has a similar meaning, but you're using a wider variety of vocabulary. For parts 1 and parts 2 writing, you need to highlight grammar that you should be using and also phrases that you should be using. This is something that we're going to do together. When you're provided with model answers, you can have a look at the grammar and the phrases that are used, and you can actually take some from there as well. Keep up to date with current issues. Again, this is to help you with your vocabulary. And obviously practice, practice, practice. The more you practice and you get appropriate feedback from your tutor, the more your writing skills will improve. The last skill we're looking at is speaking. Okay, good breathing techniques, my first recommendation. These will help you to relax during the exam. You will be nervous, it's an exam. You can practice these breathing techniques before, it's very easy. Just breathe in, breathe out. That's all you have to do, just to calm yourself. If in your native language you usually speak very fast, you need to try to slow this down. In the speaking exam, you need to give yourself time to think of good vocabulary and to prepare good answers. So the slower you speak, the more time you will have for your brain to engage and to give you the right words to speak. You can learn noises and phrases to show the examiner that you're thinking rather than sitting there in complete silence. Sometimes silence can be unsettling for both you and the examiner. Remember to speak to the examiner, okay? You need to be looking at them. If you're looking down like this, it's going to be very unsettling again for both you and the examiner. Again, think about your grammar. If the question is asking about your past, past tenses. Future, future tenses. It's the language that is important, not the content. So if you can't think of anything to say personally, you can make something up, okay? It doesn't matter if you're telling the truth or not. And again, you need to practice. So the more you practice, the better your speaking will be. You need to build your confidence. So you need to find a family friend or just a friend who you can practice with. It will also help you with the required times in those parts. This is just the start, okay? So you have had a lot of information to take in and a lot of things to think about. It's really to give you the information so outside of your lesson time you can continue working on this. A great thing you can do to widen your vocabulary is something called the academic word list. If you have a look at the slide, you can click on the link and this will open the academic word list for you. As we said before, it's very important in IELTS for you to expand your vocabulary. There will be lots of words that you need to use again and again. And rather than repeating yourself, you need to build on these synonyms. That's why this academic word list is very important. It's also giving you very specific language, which you will see in the reading, you could use in your writing, you may hear in the listening, and you should use in your writing. So this is the type of vocabulary that you need to be thinking about now to enable you to get the best score possible. I can't emphasize enough that the more you read and familiarize yourself with these topics, and the more you expand the vocabulary you need to know, the easier it will be in the IELTS exam. It really is up to you, okay? You are the person that needs to put the work in here. I'm here to give you the information and to help you as much as possible. Later on in the course, we will look at some more subject-specific vocabulary. I hope you have enjoyed today's lesson, and I hope you have taken all the information in, and I will be happy to see you next time.